Welcome back to the Cinematic Soul podcast. Today we're talking about a movie that honestly deserves a tad bit more credit than it gets. That movie is 1975's Mahogany, starring Diana Ross and Billy D. Williams. I just want to start with the opening because that opening had me sitting up here like, oh, so this is some cinema. Like, this is some real film magic here, you know? They open with this grand, almost dreamlike fashion finale, which comes back at the end of the movie. And it's this kabuki inspired, dramatic, big shapes, big feeling. Diana Ross just standing there like somebody caught between a rock and a hard place. It's beautiful. The costumes are beautiful. Not just pretty, but gorgeous outfits. And it's the kind of beauty that you, you don't even know if the movie can hold everything it's reaching for, but you respect the reach. That's the aspect I got from that. You respect the nerve. You respect the fact that a 1975 movie about a black woman from Chicago wanted to open with the scale, that color, that movement. They made some choices. And as a cinema lover, I can't be mad at that. And then as she wakes up from that dream, that sequence, the movie really starts. You see Diana in her hat and coat, looking cold, she's outside in Chicago. And then that song slowly comes in, and you know what song. Before Diana's voice even is heard on the song, I get chills. Like, I get chills instantly. That melody, it just has a way of entering the room before her voice even does. It feels like a memory, right? Like some of you, back in the day, this song played at your graduation or all these various places. And it's one that when you hear it, you flash back to that moment in time, and you just take it all in. You think about the 70s and you think about the good old days. I wasn't there, but I know what that feels like. And even I can feel that sense of nostalgia when I hear this song. Do you know where you're going to? That is one hell of a question. And it's one that sits over the whole movie if you truly think about it. Also, maybe that's why for me, Mahogany still works. Even when it gets messy, maybe especially when it gets messy. And this movie did have some mess in it, but I think it works. This movie for me was mainly about becoming somebody, becoming the you that you want to be, or at least trying to see yourself in that light that you want to be seen in. Becoming somebody can be lonely though, especially when you're black, and especially when you're a black woman. Like that kind of way is one that some people will never fully understand. Hell, I don't fully understand it, but I know their worth. I know that they should be appreciated and valued as they are, especially when the world doesn't know how to love you until it can use you. And that was Tracy's story. One thing I love, with a little bias, because I can't say non-biased about this one, right? One thing I love about this film is that it begins in Chicago, the South Side, my hometown. And whether it be 1975, 1965, 2005, whenever I see Chicago at the forefront, it puts a smile on my face. Yeah, the Rome scenes, the Rome part of the movie got the glamour. Rome gets the fantasy. Rome gets the fashion world at its fullest, extent. But Chicago gives the movie the soul, the heart. You got the street shots, the hallways, the politics, the everyday people doing everyday things, the working class. It gives Tracy somewhere real to come from. This real place, not some fantasy place. That life is a real life. back then, nowadays, for a lot of people. So we can see that and step into it and fully understand what she was going through, the dreams she had, why even when they felt too big, they were hers and they mattered. The way that this movie was shot, especially in Chicago, through that 1975 lens, there's this kind of texture that's everywhere. Like you can feel the city breathing. It has that 70s grain where even the light feels like it has a story in it. Every shot, I mean almost every single shot, was a picture worth taking. And that's a choice I'm sure they made intentionally. Tracy's working in this department store. She's going to design school, moving through a city that doesn't really make dreaming easy. And as a former Chicagoan, I get it. And Diana's acting, it gets talked about a lot. And I can't sit up here and act like I don't know why. I understand why. That is what it is. But her eyes, man, Diana Ross's eyes are doing the heavy lifting in this movie. Like there were so many scenes where just looking at her face with no words being said told me 100 million words. And that's true power. Like there were so many moments where she wouldn't or couldn't say too much, but she didn't have to because her face already told you the truth. It told you what she meant. And those kind of eyes, they carry hunger, they carry hurt, they carry attitude, fear, that want and need to be bigger than you are. That's what I saw when I looked in Tracy's eyes. She looks like somebody who has been told no so many times that she started to turn no into fabric. She made her own dreams come true page by page, even when it seemed like they weren't going to. And there were several times where she got shot down, and I get it. All of us do. It's never easy fighting for what you really want. Her designs weren't, always tasteful. Some of them were kind of wild. Some of them were over the top. Some of them looked like Diana said, I paid for all of this and I want y'all to show all of it. You know what I mean? But I respect that because Tracy's design, Tracy's clothes were her language. And before the world gives her a platform, she's already trying to speak through that art, through those designs. And then we get to Billy D. Williams, also known as, this name is so funny to me, also known as William December Williams Jr. Yeah, I think Billy D sounds much better. That man was like, dog, that cat was as smooth as they come from open to close. Whether he was fighting somebody or giving a speech over the bullhorn, Billy D was him, like the kids say. He comes in the movie with this voice, that voice that I try to tell you something. He has that energy, that walk and talk, and the curly fro, right? The little early Michael Jackson off the wall type curls. He has that look where if he looks at you, you forgive him before you even realize he did something wrong. And that's the kind of smooth that you can't teach. Like that kind of energy is something that you can wish for. You can develop maybe over time. But some people just have it. And Billy D and Brian, the character he played, just had it. This wasn't his first time working with Diana, if you all don't know. They previously worked together in 1972, The Lady Sings the Blues. And you can just tell on screen that chemistry, something's easy between them. Like they feel natural with each other. And I'm sure for Berry Gordy, sometimes that was hard to see, but that's another story for another day. They don't feel like strangers pretending to be in love. They feel like two people who already know how to look at each other and how to feel with each other. Brian is this community man. He's the people stop your crying, everybody vote for Brian. He's this guy who's trying to run for alderman and governor and super political, but he cares primarily about the black people, the poor black people getting pushed out, ignored, stepped over. And that's a message that still matters to this day. Mahogany is glamorous, yes, but I think this movie also paid attention to the displacement and the unemployment aspect of life, but especially black life. The way the cities get remade for everybody except the people who give those very cities life. Message: Brian wants Tracy near him. Tracy wants more than being near somebody else's dream. And that's where the ache starts. That's where things get complicated. Because the love part can be real. You can be in love with somebody and still not be enough. You at your core can still feel unappreciated. Sometimes somebody can love you and still, even without knowing they're doing it, ask you to shrink yourself, to limit yourself. Sometimes somebody can be good and still not know what to do with the size of your wanting. You see, I said your, right? That's what makes Tracy interesting to me. Like, she wasn't always kind. She wasn't always kind to him. He wasn't always kind to her. She wasn't always right. She wasn't always the easiest to root for. But she wants. And she deserves to want. And this movie let her want loudly. And I'm not mad at it. Let's go back to the song for a second. Theme from Mahogany. It's so simple that it almost shouldn't work as well as it does. But that's the true thing about great music and that classic sound. Some songs don't need to run all over the place. And if you know Diana, she will not run all over the place. And that's okay. Some songs just need to ask you the right question at the right time. Do you know where you're going to? That line follows her character, Tracy, everywhere. For example, when she's in Chicago, she thinks she knows. Then when she gets to Rome, she thinks she knows. When the camera starts loving her, when the fashion world starts renaming her Mahogany, when men start projecting their own needs onto her, the question changes its shape. It's still there, but it changes slightly. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things? What life is showing you? That's a grown question, and that's a very serious question. Because do you like it? That's a question I've asked myself in my own life time and time again. Because getting what you asked for can sometimes reveal things about you. Success can be a mirror, and sometimes a mirror can be rude. Think about that for a second. When Tracy becomes Mahogany, the movie shifts dramatically. She becomes an image in his mind. Not a woman first, but an image. That name that he gave her, Mahogany, is a beautiful name, right? It's gorgeous. It's supposed to come off as this dark, rich, and valuable thing. But it's also, depending on how you look at it, a warning that she didn't quite notice. Once people rename you, once they give you something that you are this thing now, they start believing they own the meaning of you. Sean McAvoy sees her as material. The fashion world sees her as a product. The Count, who is a funny character, sees her as something to collect. And if we're being honest, even Brian, in his own way, while he loved her, he sees a version of her that fits into his life better than it does in her very own life. And that's where, to me, the movie really gets complicated, because it loves Diana Ross's beauty, and Diana Ross is, for a lot of us, absolutely stunning. A gorgeous woman. The camera is, like Berry Gordy, obsessed with her. She has these high cheekbones, as I said earlier, those eyes that can look through your soul. Her body in motion, her stillness, her glamour. She was the it girl. But the movie also keeps asking, what does that cost? What is that beauty really worth? What happens when everybody can see you, but nobody is really looking at you? As a Black person, I think that question to me, as I was watching the movie, that's a very Black question. What is it like to be visible and misunderstood? To be desired but handled? To be praised and still not protected like you should be? Answer. A lot of us know the answer to that question, but yet and still, it can be a tough pill to swallow. We can't talk about Mahogany without talking about the fashion, the clothes in this movie. So, fun fact, Diana Ross actually designed the costumes that she wore in this movie. And you can feel her fingerprints on it, right? Like she designed over 50 pieces that were worn and shown in this movie. And when I found that out, I was actually impressed, because what you know about Diana on the outside looking in aren't those things. The fashion that she chose was not shy at all. A lot of it was elegant. Some of it was absolutely outrageous, right? But some of it also had me saying, Diana, what's going on here? Like, Miss Ross, I can see what you're trying to do, but what is this? You know? But I love that too, because you got to take chances sometimes. And at this time, 1975, the choices they made were huge chances. Mahogany understands that fashion can be a confession while also being a story, a lens for you to see this world through. A woman can wear the things she cannot say yet. A color can be a mood. A sleeve can be a warning. A silhouette can be a prayer for a bigger life. And Tracy wanted that bigger life for herself. No matter what anybody else saw, she knew what she wanted. And when Tracy's clothes got bigger and the hairstyles got larger, the hats got bigger, more theatrical, I don't only see her ego. And let me say, she had a hell of a lot of it, as in real life. No shade to Diana. I see a woman trying to build a body big enough to survive in this giant world that's staring back at her. That's why the opening words, that big grand finale, was more than a spectacle. It's Tracy stepping inside the dream after dream after dream after dream, and started asking herself, wait a minute, is this my dream? Is this what I really want? What does this mean for me? Who am I? I don't want to spend this entire episode pretending that Diana Ross was doing some quiet naturalism, because she was not. Diana goes for it. Diana gets very big in this movie. Sometimes too big, right? Sometimes she's one clenched jaw away from taking flight. But I'll say this. I was never bored. Prior to this week, I watched it 3 times this week. Prior to that, I hadn't watched Mahogany since I was probably around 17 years old. So that was a while ago. I had just never really had the interest in seeing it again, because at that time in my life, I didn't view it the way I view films now. So I'm glad I circled back to Mahogany, because I can see it in this different light. And I can see what she brought to this in a different light. I was never bored, you know, and when she brings it down, she really does have something. Like, Diana Ross's face can hold an entire paragraph. Hell, a whole story even. Like, she has these moments where she looks like a woman who's realizing the room she fought to enter is colder than the hallway she came from. And that kind of imagining, that kind of realization doesn't need to be perfect technique-wise. It just needs to be present. Show your presence. And Diana absolutely has presence. The camera knows it, the songs know it, the clothes know it. Billy D definitely knows it, and Barry Gordy absolutely knew it. Lover or hater, she was it, as real as they can be. Let's talk about the love aspect of the movie for a second, because the movie wants us to believe that Tracy has to choose between love and success, right? Between Brian and his dreams and her wants and needs from life. I don't fully buy that though. I feel like I understand why the movie goes there. I mean, it's 1975, you know? It's carrying the politics of the time, the gender expectations of his time, and then Barry Gordy's own feelings about image, control, Diana Ross's stardom, i.e. Dreamgirls message. But watching it now, I don't think Tracy's true problem was her ambition. I think Tracy's problem is that every room she enters wants to take a piece of her. It wants something from her that even if she gives it, she doesn't really want to deep down. Chicago, Brian wants her loyalty. Rome wants her body. Sean wants her image. The Count wants her gratitude. But Brian also wanted her presence. But what did Tracy want? Herself. What does she need from herself? That's the real love story to me, not just Tracy and Brian. Tracy as a woman. Can she belong to herself even after everybody has had a hand on her? That's what stayed to me. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? So now it's time for our cinematic flowers segment of the show. And my cinematic flowers for this week go to a character who isn't that obvious. My flowers go to the late Lenard Norris, who played Will. If you don't know, Will was Brian's right hand man, and he was that kind of character who makes the world feel actually lived in. Like he can laugh with Brian, he can fight beside him. Like he was ready to square up whenever he needed to. He kept it real. He offered Tracy a moment of warmth without making a big speech out of it, letting her be a human who can feel things for a second. And even though he didn't say 1,000 words, I could feel his presence in this movie. Lenard Norris was from Chicago, and he went to Inglewood High School, actually, in Chicago. He appeared in this movie, and then he also appeared in The Spook Who Sat by the Door before deciding to change his life and step away from films. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1989, so he's not here to receive these flowers, but he deserves them nonetheless. Sometimes the performance he gave is the kind that truly does deserve the flowers. He was grounded. Like, to me, he gave the movie a little more of that neighborhood feeling, that breath of fresh air, the truth and honesty. Because while Tracy were these big, humongous characters who were really big in almost every scene, he was there. And if you paid attention, you could feel it. So, Lenard Norris, rest in peace. And these flowers are for you. By the end of Mahogany, I'm not sure the movie fully knows what to do with a woman like Tracy. And maybe that's why I keep thinking about it. Black women with dreams have always had to survive other people's discomfort with their being. Black women in general. Like, how dare you? How dare you dream that big? How dare you see your life being this humongous thing that people don't think you can obtain, that you can achieve? The movie tries to bring Tracy back down to earth, which that's a message. That's a story in itself. But Diana Ross has already given us the image. A black woman in motion. A black woman wrapped in color. A black woman walking through beauty, sometimes loneliness, ego, hunger, heartbreak. All of these things is what she showed. A black woman who is asking herself the question, We all meet eventually in life. Do you know where you're going to? And maybe the answer doesn't come all at once, because that would be too easy. Maybe sometimes the answer is in the walking. It's in the fabric. Maybe it's in the song that begins before the world truly hears it. Maybe it's in the backdrops. Maybe it's in the city views, the bus scenes, the subways, the lighting, the angles. Maybe the answer is all around. I appreciate that fabric. I appreciate this movie for what it is. In my opinion, it deserves a watch. And I hope you all do just that. Until next time, this has been the Cinematic Soul. Stay black, stay magical, and keep the soul and cinema alive. Peace and love.